Hello and welcome to my way too early VCT tier list for APAC. I'm going to be using these rosters as of October 17th. So I'll be judging based off of these rosters for the 2025 season. And so yeah, let's just get into it. Boom Esports, they're going in the just promoted tier. I don't really know much about their team. I haven't been keeping up with tier 2 a whole lot. So honestly, they could be good, they could be bad. General thing was that outside of G2, pretty much every promotion team was bad and didn't make playoffs. So just put that thought out there. Sin Prisa Gaming are going to be in the same spot, sadly. Just none of the promoted teams were really that great outside of G2, and that was only just because G2 obviously had that international roster beforehand. So they already had that experience. Next, we're going DFM. I haven't really seen much from DFM. I don't. They completely overhauled the roster pretty much, is what it looks like. Yeah. So yeah. So high chance of sign. They have the asterisks, so they were added. Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything to say. I mean, I don't really know how this roster is. They might be good. They might be bad. I'm just gonna put them in the meh tier for now, just because it looks. I don't recognize any of these names from before, so it looks like they're all tier 2 players, which is typically what DFM has been doing the past few years. Is just finding tier 2 players, bring them in, not doing too hot. So yeah. Next is DRX. So DRX, they keep Mako, they keep Flashback, and they get rid of Buzz, Stacks, and who was their fifth from last year? What's his face? I know where he is. I know who he is. I can think of him. He's on the top of my head. He went to China, I think. But yeah, he or no, it was Bayin, wasn't it? Yeah. But so they bring in three new players. I don't know who any of these people are. Apparently, Free Yang is good. Apparently, this guy is good. Leviathan has been decent from what I've heard. I'm gonna put them in the playoff teams just because they have Mako, they have Flashback. They can't be necessarily bad. They still have the same head coach. I doubt they'll be really bad, but I just need to see some more from these players. I don't really know who any of them are, to be really honest with you. Next is Gen.G. Gen.G is a rough one to rank right now because they almost got rid of everybody. They managed to find a deal with Karen and Texture, and then they also just recently finalized a deal with Munchkin to finally bring him back. So they lose two. Obviously, that core was so good from last year. But I don't know. I would assume that they would be able to fill the spots pretty. I mean, they're a Korean team. There's lots of South Korean players who really want to play and want the opportunity. So if they can get a roster finalized here in the next few weeks, like 2 weeks or less, then that would be optimal for them. I'm gonna put them in top of playoff teams right now. Obviously, they don't have those two slots filled, so it's pretty rough to rank them. But yeah, they could be very good again. They have the same core, same head coach, but outside of that, I really don't know. As of right now, they're missing two players still, so it's a little rough. Next is GE. G. I know Crystal, new head coach. Other than that, I don't know anybody. Yeah, they got rid of Blaze King. Could bring in Foxy9. Could bring in Bayin. If they could get one of those bigger name players, like a Foxy9 or a Bayin, or like even like an X Curate maybe or something, I think they would be better. I obviously don't know the roles very well on the team. I don't know if any of that would work. I think they're definitely going to be a meh team though. They're probably bottom of meh. Um, they might even be relegated or might need to be put in the relegation tier later. PRX, they're going in trophy contenders. Shocking. I mean, yeah, it's just how it is. This team has been good for so long. They're not going anywhere else. Next is RRQ. So RRQ bring back Monyet. They bring back Jemkin, which are the two most memorable players from last year. They add a new guy, Kush, and they bring back their other two players. I mean, they were very decent last year. They were a playoff team for sure. They weren't, that same tier as like a PRX, a DRX, or a Gen.G. I think that if RRQ got a better draw in playoffs, they would have been the other champs team instead of Team Secret, or not Team Secret, Talon, sorry. I think they got really unlucky in that draw because they had to play PRX first round. And so, if you're playing DRX, Gen.G, PRX first round, you're most likely losing. That was the one and done round last year. So I think they would have been at champs. I'm gonna put them top of playoff teams right now. That might change here in a minute. But overall, I mean, you have them on yet, solid roster, keeping it all, running it back pretty much, except for one guy. So I think that's always a good plan. Is to make these small changes at once. You don't want to completely have to rebuild a roster because that's just a nightmare. Like as a person who has had to rebuild rosters before, that's just a complete total nightmare. Yeah, so next is T1. T1 have been making some money moves over the offseason. They bring in Meteor, they bring in Stacks, they bring in Buzz. So part of the former DRX team, two of, I would say personally, the better players, out except for Mako. I think Buzz and Stacks were two of the better players. And then they also add Meteor, which is just an insane pickup. I mean, he's just so good. Um, Keep the same head coach. They have Carpe on the bench, which is unfortunate, but he's a bit of an older player. Like I remember watching him back in the Overwatch League, like way back when. So that's he's an older guy. So he's a nice guy to keep around. He has a rumor he could leave possibly, but he's a nice guy to keep around. But they keep Izu, and other than that, it's a pretty much brand new team. So this is a crazy team. This is most definitely a trophy contender. If they can, bond. But I mean, this guy won a trophy. This guy's been to a final. This guy's been to a final. This guy's good. This guy's good. Like, I mean, it's just nuts. Like DRX, like these, I think out of Meteor went to all three internationals this year. DRX went to all the internationals for the past like 2 or 3 years. So I mean, the combined years of this is crazy of just international play. Unfortunately, they don't keep X-Ray. That guy was so fun to watch, but it's unfortunate. Yeah, no, these are definitely trophy contenders though. Next is Talon. Talon run it back with pretty much the same exact roster. Well, actually, rumored to get Scary instead. That could be interesting from Bleed. Obviously, Bleed just went kaboom, but yeah, they have Governor, who's always good. Primi, as we saw, is a dominant force that can force to be reckoned with. Jit Boys is good. Ban is good. They're definitely a solid team, definitely a playoff team. But I think I don't know. Honestly, Pacific has been like this for a while, where you have your top three, your top two teams. And, last year was DRX, Gen.G, PRX, and then there's a gap tier almost, and then there's everyone else. Like these teams, like these three are just like the big three. And then before Gen.G was any good, it was DRX, PRX. We're just a tier above everyone else. And so it's a little rough. I'm gonna have to add like a little buffer here in between these two because these two are just so good. But yeah, we'll see how I feel. Team Secret, run it back, pretty much exactly the same. I think Envy might be new if I'm not. No, he was on their team last year. They run it back pretty much. I'm gonna say they're also playoff team. Um, they're just. I mean, it's a solid roster. They made playoffs last year. Pretty well rounded. Jesse Vash is senior citizen. He's like 33 now, 35. So, but overall solid team. Unfortunately they just went up against Primi in his first ever game. So unfortunate. Next is Zeta. Zeta is just so mid. Like they just brought up three guys from tier two. They're really sticking with this Japanese roster, but it's like it's just it's not working. Like they need to bring in an international import. They need to do something because they've just been so mid for so long. They're going in the meh tier. Boom and Simpreza we already talked about. So I need to balance this out because I honestly I don't know. Like I guess we would move up. I don't want to move up Gen.G because they don't have a full roster. I don't want to move up DRX because they have just so many question marks. Like I don't know, man. I guess we would move up Team Secret. And I think we need to move up Gen.G. I think we'll do this. I think I'll put some respect on Gen.G's name. They're keeping the core. If they find two other players who aren't perfect, then I think they'll still be able to qualify to champs at the very least. If they're running it back. They still have the same core. Texture's a beast. Karen's a beast. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, this is my final tier lists. If you guys have any Actually, I'm moving down DFM to the relegation tier. I don't think they're very good. But yeah, this is my tiers. If you guys have any questions about it, any comments, concerns, conundrums, make sure to comment down below, and I'll see y'all next time.